Your assignment was to take a deep dive on the coach's film into Bo's 3 picks. What'd you see?
Well, the first one was 1st and 10. They were playing cover 2 high safety corners or playing the flat at 5 yards. I think this was a designed game plan play. And I think they were trying to get it to Courtland Sutton. And I think they came back and they ran it again later, and Courtland got a pass interference called on the defensive back. I think they were looking for man coverage. They didn't get man coverage. Playing cover 2, folks. So now you have to adjust a little bit if you're Bo. And he was looking left, came back to the right, and you had a seam up the middle of the football field, and then you had an end cut coming behind the go route, going right down the middle of the field. And sometimes during cover 2, the Mike linebacker runs deep middle, the Tampa 2, Tony Dungy, Tampa 2. And so this one, he started to run and he stopped. And Bo never saw him, and Bo lost track of him. And I think in this situation, he just forced it, obviously. If the play's not there, if what you're looking for is not there, and I guarantee if it's man, he's going to Courtland. Zone, he's probably supposed to look back to the other side. They just didn't play the zone maybe like he thought they were going to play the zone. And, next time, just throw the check down. It's 1st down and 10. No need to really force the issue in that situation. But that was the first one.
They got him.
Yeah, they got him.
They got him.
They got him.
It happens.
It happens sometimes. Hopefully next time what he does is just find one of the check downs and say, okay, boom, we'll maybe get back to this play later on, and hopefully we see man-to-man coverage. The second one was 3rd and 1, and it was a shot play. I think they were looking for good coverage because they know they're going to be playing man-to-man, loading the box, and I think they were going to go for it on 4th down. And after the play, Sean was having a conversation with Courtland Sutton. That was the one he was talking to.
I was curious about that one.
Could you read Courtland's lips?
No.
I could. You want to know what he said?
Yes.
He said, what did I do wrong? That's what he said. Courtland's like, what did I do wrong? Because Sean was – and I think if I had to guess what Sean was telling me, because I couldn't see Sean, I couldn't read his lips. I could only read Courtland's lips. Was I think he wanted Courtland to take a high angle there on the corner route and to get going a little bit quicker. So Courtland Sutton was running a corner route, and he got caught up a little bit with the linebacker, so it slowed him down a little bit. And the corner just dropped off. They were just playing cover 3. The corner just was out there in the third of the area over there and just dropped off, and the ball was right to him. So bad decision by Bo, not seeing the corner over there. And how much did Courtland come into play there? Probably not a lot. I think probably after Sean watched it, it's just a bad decision by Bo. Overthrew him. If you're going to make that throw, you got to put it on the money against that type of coverage.
So this wasn't a case of Bo clearly throwing to a place where he expected Courtland to be.
Could have been. But I think in those situations, sometimes when you get hung up as a receiver a little bit, when you're getting through traffic, you're a little bit maybe later to the area than you're supposed to be, a little bit. And in those situations, you just can't throw it 5 yards over his head, 10 yards over his head. Put the ball on him, throw it away, live to see another down. Another one of these situations, so the third interception, this was 3rd and 10, okay, cover 2. Sutton has a tight split, and he's just running a corner route. And the safety jumps it, right? Bo was late. On this one, okay? And Bo was looking to the left to start. Then he came back to the right, and his footwork was good. That's what I like to see, right? Mama cat a little bit here. I'm gonna do a little mama cat. The footwork was good, Bo. I like the footwork going from the left to the right. Looked good. Boom. You planted. You threw a good ball. But it's just late. You can't get to that deep out route, deep corner late like that. The safety jumped it, and it was an interception. So, you just look at a few of those, and it's. I don't think it's anything that's not fixable. Again, what did we say a couple weeks ago? We're like, oh, gunslinger. We love the gunslinger mentality, right? Sometimes you got to rein it in a little bit.
Think he got caught up in that a little bit?
No, I don't want to say that because I'm not sure if it was just a guy that made a couple mistakes. I don't know if he's trying to. We'll see as we move forward if this continues, or if it was one of those things where you know what? Sometimes that stuff happens with a young quarterback.
So when Sean said this after the game.
I get mad at myself. A couple of the calls I gave him, and he had one read that he knows better. But look, it was just one of those nights where we weren't as efficient, especially against a zone defense like that. You're not going to hit as many big plays, but I think early on he was like 6 for 8, but then there were just a few forced throws and then a few calls that were done by me that I've got to be better.
Okay, is this a case of, Mama Cat and his young quarterback taking the heat off him? Were any of those bad calls?
Well, I think to his point, possibly, and I don't know this, I'm just speculating by watching the film, is, the first interception, they were hoping for man-to-man coverage, and they played zone. So when you have a shot play or dialed-up play, a game plan play, you're looking for a specific coverage. And then maybe on the other ones, the same thing. They were looking for a certain coverage. They didn't get that coverage that he thought they were going to get with that down and distance. Mm-hmm. So he's taking some of the heat.
But it's also ultimately up to the quarterback to recognize that the play doesn't match the coverage.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. And, we're still looking at a young quarterback here that's trying to develop and get used to the NFL game. And I think that's what you see here. So I'm not making everything out of this, but at the same time, it needs to be better. And like Bo said and Sean, so we'll see what it looks like moving forward.
Well, that was going to be my question. Would you anticipate coming off these last 2 games? He's thrown 5 picks in the last 2 games. Would you anticipate a much more conservative passing game on Thursday?
No. That's not the way Sean rolls. He ain't babying Bo. They're going to come out firing.
Even though Bo said after the game that it got to a point where he was kind of, questioning what am I seeing out there?
He's human. I don't know who wouldn't.
Right.
When you're throwing the passes that he threw. But he did throw 3 touchdowns. We got to remember the good here also. There was some good here. There was some positives. So – no, Sean's not babying Bo. He's not going to dial the game plan back. They're going to come out throwing the ball, doing what he would do with any other quarterback. So I hopefully this doesn't carry over. I don't think it will.
You got the more optimistic, I guess, upbeat assignment as I tasked you with taking a look at the 5 turnovers. Well, 4. Jonathan Taylor's snafu counted as a turnover. The Broncos certainly didn't do anything on that one. But of the other 4 that the Broncos forced, what did the film say?
Well, I tell you what. So let's just take them in succession, okay? In the second quarter, Nick Bonitto, first off, I think that was a Jones interception. So Nick Bonitto goes unblocked. So they're running a zone read play, and they're trying to influence Nick Bonitto. And they're running a fullback by him. They're running a tight end slide across. They're faking the handoff to the running back. Nick Bonitto ignores all the noise, all the eye candy that usually distracts a defensive end, is completely locked in on what they're trying to do to him. Very savvy football play, and he doesn't turn his shoulders on the play fake. He basically keeps him square. He squeezes a little bit. When he sees the ball not handle the running back, he takes a step out, gets in the face of Richardson. Richardson throws the ball. Jones picks it off. So Nick Bonitto, we talk about the sacks that he's gotten. We talk about the interceptions. You want to talk about a savvy football play. That play was made with intelligence. So that's number 1. Okay. Intelligence by the defensive end, not buying all the eye candy and the fakes. Okay, then we go to the third quarter where Jones and Allen, the nose guard, the defensive tackle, they kind of take an outside loop, so it creates that cutback lane for Jonathan Taylor. I will tell you this, on the very back side of that, the cornerback, and I know PS2 is great, but he does not really squeeze and allows the cutback run, and that would be coaching tape. Hey, listen, man, everybody's got to be involved in defending the run, and on the backside, especially with zone, you're critical on the backside. So a couple of bad paths, if you will, not so much by Jones at the nose, but Allen kind of wide. But, man, you want to talk about effort and hustle on the backside by those two to get back into the play. They did it, but they didn't get there. PS2 could have squeezed a lot more dramatically and stopped that thing from getting to the goal line. But, of course, Richardson just lets go of the ball, and obviously it goes out the back of the end zone, okay? So we'll go to the third turnover. Excuse me, not Richardson, Taylor. I meant, going across and fumbling the ball. I apologize. So Richardson Richardson goes on a boot keep game, gets pressure off the boot keep game. Locke is deep in the middle of the field. PJ Locke, they're playing like a form of cover 3, so he's just a single high safety. He realizes, based on the pressure on the edge, that Richardson's going to dump the ball off. And so he just hell-bent for election, man. He just leaves the middle of the football field because there's no other throw under the pressure that Richardson's on the boot keep that he can make. So Pittman's on like a low crossing route because, that's what they have there. And, I mean, I'm telling you, he reads it. And this, again, goes to the defense, the savviness of the defense. He reads it and just like shot out of a cannon, takes it to the outside hip. And when that ball is delivered to Pittman, man, it is ball, catch, wham! And I'm telling you what, the ball comes out. It was just a beautiful play, but it's understanding where that quarterback's going to go with the football, and he's got no other options. There's no other throw he can make because he's under duress. It was 92, I think. I don't have his name. But under duress, and I'm telling you what, that was a PJ Locke. That was big time, man. All right, so that was that one. Then in the fourth quarter, on the bubble screen where Nick Bonitto, so they throw it out to the bubble screen, right, to the wide receiver, and they're going to screen it back to the quarterback. And so all the offensive linemen block 1,001, and then they start to release. Well, all the D linemen start rushing to the bubble screen, rushing to the wide receiver. They're going hell-bent for election. But Nick Bonitto, another savvy play by Nick, which, his intelligence blows me away. He felt all those guys let him go, and he felt them kind of taking off to run a screen back the other way to the quarterback. He completely felt it, and you saw him take one step and just hit the brakes, stop in his tracks. He's like, something smells fishy because these guys aren't trying to block me. And I can feel him release. And so he stops right then, and he sees, the wide receiver cock back to throw the ball. And he's like, oh, here I go. Pick six time. And he grabs it again. Now, if he'd have taken another step or two, that ball would have been out the gate. Who knows what Richardson would have done with it. It could have been a score. But his savviness created that interception. And I'm telling you what, it was because they had it set up. It was a great setup. And Bonitto squelched that uprising. And then in the fourth quarter, and this was a little bit of poor design by the Indianapolis Colts. They get into a situation where I didn't like the design off of the fake, but they try to throw it to a corner route, and so the design is the anytime you run kind of a high-low concept, you got to have a guy holding the corner underneath. We call them smash routes or whatever. But they run that low guy, they run him out. And so PS2 goes, oh, you're going to run him into a linebacker? You're going to run him into coverage? Let me drop underneath the corner route on the edge. So it's like a cover 2 and just reads it perfectly. Once his guy that they're trying to hold him with is no longer in the play design because it's a bad design, he just takes off and intercepts the ball on the underneath, on the corner route, the sail route, whatever you want to call it, to the sideline. So really, again, another super savvy play by a defender that reads what you're trying to do to him and goes, let me get off the guy I'm covering because he's no longer viable because he's not there. He's taken 3 steps inside. My backer can take him now. And so just really smart defensive players, well coached, understanding what they're trying to do to you and making plays because of it.
Another great Telestrator Tuesday. I'm telling you, Telestrator Tuesday, is on a roll right now, and I attribute it to the arrival of Stoke and lifting Stink to a whole nother level.
No, that's not.
Stink wasn't doing it. I'm
What
sorry,
do you mean?
it just didn't sound like this prior to Stoke getting here. I'm sorry, it just didn't.
Because here's what's happened. Okay, here's what's happened. One, you, Mike, have picked up your game in what you're asking us to do. So, Telestrated Tuesday, Stoke, let me just tell you about Telestrated Tuesday. Before you got here, Mike would be like, can you look at every throw Bo's ever made through his college career? Like, this is what I was tasked with every week. He'd be like, can you do that? And it'd be like these ridiculous things. Can you look at Bo Nix and juxtapose him to Drew Brees in the 14 games Drew Brees played? And it'd be like, dude, I would need 3 weeks to do that. And that was always what he gave me. Now you've come in here and you've simplified, to your credit, you've simplified. You're looking at something very specific. And Mike has learned actually how to do his job as a host because of you, Stokes. So kudos.
Well done, Mark. Well done.